Welcome back to All Philly all the time. We're in person again. Let's go.
I love being in person, guys.
That happened was, if you're watching, Parker did not get the memo to wear an Eagles jersey. We didn't tell him that.
No, but we are going to be champions this year.
Yeah.
Yes, that's an Eagles jersey.
Yes, exactly.
Not sponsored by Champions.
It's an Eagles slogan. Once we win the championship this year, we're
Eagles champions.
Exactly.
This is
I don't have an Eagles jersey. I need to get one because I don't.
Really?
I don't have one.
We should work on that. That's a good idea. Maybe for your birthday.
I don't know.
Because we already got your Christmas gift, so we'll have to push it.
I mean, I just don't have one, so I need to work on that. Really.
Yeah.
I've got Sixers, don't have Eagles, so I wouldn't have been able to.
You need a
even if I wanted to.
Yeah.
You know what
I mean? I could have brought you. Anyway.
That's all right.
We're still going to have a good episode.
I have a Carson Wentz jersey here if you want to wear it.
No, I burned that thing. When you're listening to our podcast, the glass is never half empty, it's never half full as well. It's always just completely full.
Yes, that's how I describe our podcast.
I would like to say that my view is generally the glass is partially full.
I was looking through my camera
brown
roll.
on the back.
It's almost exactly 3 years ago today that I have a picture of you in our basement with your Wentz jersey.
1 + 1 = 2 for Hurts.
And we put Hurts on the nameplate back when Hurts was still wearing number 2.
Yup.
That was the moment
man.
when we embraced Jalen Hurts as our guy.
Yeah.
That was 3 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
Time flies.
Time flies when you're living in the world.
And fly, Eagles, fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Yeah.
On the road to victory.
Hit 'em
Fight, Eagles, fly. We're doing it around. Score a touchdown. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low. Hit 'em high. And watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly. On the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Again, you need to be watching on YouTube so you can see Luke's interpretive dance of Fly, Eagles, Fly.
He starts like signing
the road.
Eagles.
That was great. I didn't know we'd start off the episode like that. But we're recording this on Sunday.
And the Eagles are about to play.
Yes.
In an
They
hour.
will hopefully extend their winning streak to 7 straight
In the Baldiani
off
area.
the bye week.
In the Baldiani area.
Yeah, post-bye week Baldiani, which we did. If you go back to our Instagram, there's a reel that I made saying this is either going to be...
I still hate that you're corrected that. I hated that so much.
You still don't like Baldiani?
I mean, I guess if the Eagles are winning. I
Yeah,
don't
do what
really
it takes,
care,
man.
Yeah.
I don't really care. If the Eagles are winning.
If he didn't get that right, then the Eagles would have lost the
You know what? That's fair. Fine.
Well, I didn't-
Baldiani succeeds.
I didn't say that this was going to be the start of the run. I hedged. I was like, I said there's no in between. This is either going to be the start of a complete collapse or the start of an amazing run. So I could have been right if they were also terrible. The only way I was wrong is if they went like 500 in this time, but they haven't. They've been great. They're going to play the Rams. That game will be over by the time you guys watch this.
Yes.
But real quick, do you guys have any predictions so that we either sound really smart or really dumb for
Eagles
people
win.
listening to this? Okay, that's a good prediction.
Yeah,
like
I think it's going to be a high offensive scoring game, honestly. I'm thinking score prediction, Eagles 35. I think they're just going to score 35 points. Rams, I think they're going to score
Okay,
24. 35-24.
Okay,
35-24.
That sounds like a comfortable win. I like that. 11
Yeah,
points.
but it only gets comfortable in the fourth quarter.
Oh, great! Like every Eagles game.
Yeah, they start down 17-0.
What?
That's a crazy comeback.
All right, we win 37-10.
Oof, okay.
That's an easy
all right.
win. Easy
That's definitely.
2 field
Do we
goals,
start
2
out
safeties.
down 10-0 though? Okay.
win. 2 interceptions.
No,
We need to check.
That's how the Rams are scoring. 2 field goals, 2 safeties.
Yeah, I said at the beginning of
I
the
don't
year,
know.
said
I really
20
hope we don't give up 2 safeties.
That would be really concerning.
really bad.
We need to check on the Eagles' interception totals because I think you said they would get 20.
20. They're
20
not on
picks this
pace.
year. Okay.
They're not on
Which
pace.
is a good thing, right?
They're the first
Well,
couple
in
games.
the defensive picks.
I thought you meant Jalen Hurts to throw 20
Defensive.
interceptions.
No,
I was
defensively.
Like, I really hope we're not on pace for that. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the
Defensively,
secondary has
yeah.
been amazing. So
They
like,
have-
we'll take it.
They've been
been
locking
locked
down,
down.
just not intercepting.
We'll take it.
Yeah,
We have-
the first
I know
3 or 4
CJ
games
has
that he
one.
got
Reed, I think, has 2.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Slay, I don't even know if Slay has one. this
CJ
year.
Gardner has one.
That's what I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, you just said that?
Did Quinyon
He's
get
got a
one?
couple.
Uh,
CJ's got a couple.
I don't think Quinyon
No,
has
Quinyon
one.
famously does not have one because he doesn't get the ball thrown to him.
Yeah.
He's dropped like 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He and CJ had that one jump ball. where
Dejean
D
has
just-
one, though, I think. Dejean got one.
He did?
I think he got one in
good.
either the Jags
Way
game
to
or
go,
the game
Coop.
before. I'm pretty sure he has one.
I don't remember.
I know he had a fumble recovery against the Cowboys.
I'll check.
Reed
I'll check on
Blankenship's
that for
got
you
a
guys.
couple.
Yeah, my score prediction, I think it's going to be lower scoring because I think both of these defenses are hot right now. The Eagles defense obviously has been amazing. They're now like top 5 in
has
the league.
30.
And the Rams defense I saw hasn't allowed more than 23 points in a game in like the last 5 weeks.
Oh, N'Kobe Dean's insane interception. I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Zach Bond
Sure.
has one.
Yeah. Oh, Zach Bond was diving both in the Jags game.
Yeah.
Our linebackers went crazy then.
We have 7 interceptions on the season. Reed with 3,
Okay.
CJ with 2,
Okay.
Dean and Bond both have 1.
Yeah, so they can. Their defense has been playing really well though, so they can.
Yeah.
They could definitely. Unfortunately, they won't get to play Daniel Jones a second time this year, so that really limits the chances for interceptions.
Yeah, that's true.
But, you know.
Oh man, that was just the division is looking nice right now. The
Yeah.
Commanders just lost today
To the Cowboys.
To the Cowboys.
The
we
fraud
called
Manders,
that. We
the
called
fraud
that.
Manders.
We totally called that last week that
They're-
the Commanders were frauds.
they're
They're
frauds.
good, but
No, we-
not
we called
Eagles
them
level.
They have not
Eagles
beaten a
level.
team over 500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not on our level.
They haven't won a good game. They obviously just lost the
They
Cowboys.
beat up on bad teams,
The
but
Cowboys-
they barely beat up. They
the
don't
Cowboys
really beat
are
up.
literally
They just beat-
tanking.
Yeah.
They're tanking right now. Dak, they're not playing Dak
In
at all.
Washington.
Yeah. And then obviously the Giants just cut the guy that just paid $50 million to. Oh my goodness.
I
And
want
now
nothing
we're rooting for the
more-
Cowboys to get.
Yeah, I want nothing more than for Daniel Jones to go to the Cowboys.
That'd be so
I think
good.
that would be the funniest thing in the world.
It would. It totally would. But no, I feel really good. The Eagles are in a really good spot, obviously.
Yeah.
I just don't know. The question I posed last week, if they can beat a good secondary, like if Jalen Hurts, because we haven't seen it yet. So like, until Jalen Hurts is in a playoff scenario, he's going against like a Minnesota Vikings or like, you know,
It's basically the Vikings or the
Buccaneers.
Lions. The Buccaneers defense they shut down the Giants today, but that's the Giants.
but they've shut
But
down
they-
Jalen Hurts
they-
as well.
specifically, that's true, yeah.
They also shut
there's
down
a
Jalen
handful
Hurts
of teams
with no targets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
Aside
handful
from
of
Johnny
teams
Wilson
that they
and
could
Jahan
play
Dotson.
against.
I know.
Yeah.
That are
I mean,
specifically
and
tailored
hey,
to them.
that was early in the season. I'm not excusing our bad playing.
But
like,
even last postseason though, the Bucks shut
Yes.
down.
well, that was after the major
It's the most
collapse. I don't
atrocious
think-
thing we've ever seen.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
bad. I think the Jalen we saw even in week 1 and 2 of this year is worlds different than the Jalen we're watching now. Like
Yeah.
I think that he's getting comfortable with Kellen Moore. I think he's getting comfortable in his role now as more of a leader, especially taking on those blitz coverages that Jason Kelsey's not there to lead anymore. And so
And he's proposed.
He's engaged.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
yeah,
He's engaged.
So I think
Yeah.
it's a different Jalen Hurts now than we even saw the first 5 games of this season. So I'm hoping that I'm right with that. I'm hoping that it's not just a fluke of us beating up on bad teams. But that's the thing, we're beating up on bad teams.
Okay, all right,
We
here's
didn't
a
do
question.
that last year. Last year we played down to bad teams. This year
That's
we are
true.
beating up on bad teams, which is what we
who's the
should
best
do.
team in the NFC right now?
Lions.
Okay.
It's us and the Lions
So
in
then-
our own tier. It's Eagles and Lions.
because the Lions
I would-
the Lions
the
only allowed
Lions-
6 points
The
today.
Lions are unbelievable. I would say the Lions are above us.
So can
I
the
would
Eagles
love
beat
to.
the
I would
Lions?
love to see the Eagles
I would
beat
say
the
Jared
Lions.
Goff is still their quarterback. He's been good. He's also thrown 5 interceptions in a game.
I think
In a playoff scenario.
I think that an Eagles Lions NFC Championship game is very
Electric.
realistic. I think it would be an electric game. I think it's going to be a crazy game.
Right.
I think
Can the Eagles win that?
The Lions have a
Oh, they can. They
powerhouse
can.
offense. Their offense is amazing, led by a quarterback in Jared Goff who has this year done really well. But at the same time, I wouldn't say he's a crazy good quarterback in the NFL as a whole. And I think that we have a really good secondary that's been playing very well in these last couple of games. And Can they lock down guys like Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Jameson Williams, the Lions, receiving core, and stop a great dual running game with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery? Can they stop that? I don't know, but I think that it's going to be a good test. And I think we're going to see that in the NFC Championship this year.
It would be such a fun game if they get to play each other. It would
Absolutely.
be great. And I would,
because the Lions have been so fun to watch this year.
I would want to beat the Lions, but it's not like when you're playing like the Cowboys or the Niners. Like if the Lions beat us to go to the Super Bowl, it's like go win it, guys. And honestly, deserve it.
Just watching this year, I feel like whoever comes out of the NFC has a really good shot at winning the Super Bowl. I think we've seen some strong performances in the
Chiefs
AFC.
Are really good, but they only won by 3 points. They're so weird. They only beat the Panthers by 3.
Yeah,
like they've won all their games by like game-winning field goals.
They're like good, but not good.
But the Bills, though,
the Bills have been really good. I think the Bills are a really strong contender.
The Bills have a shot,
but they also have a really bad track record in the postseason. Very bad track record. In the
I feel like the script is setting up for like a Bills-Lions game.
Which America would love.
Like, that's the script, but please, Eagles. Like,
if it's an Eagles-Bills Super Bowl, America will burn.
Buffalo.
Two of the best, the two best fan bases in the NFL going at it
100%
would be unbelievable.
I feel like that's a good script.
I mean, as an Eagles fan, I respect the heck out of Bills Mafia.
Oh, of course.
I love Bills Mafia.
And I respect the heck out of Lions fans because
the dedication.
They are the most dedicated fans. They suck through
it's
thick.
Them
I have some Lions fans.
I was going to say they stuck through thick and thin,
really
but I feel like
for
for most of them it's been thin. Or thick. I don't know. What is thick or thin the better?
I think of thick as like thin time. I think of thick as better. Thin times is like you're just like scraping by.
Yeah, the Lions fan have stuck through thick and thin, but it's pretty much only been thin until now.
It's like scripture in biblical times. You know what I mean? When there was like a harvest and they had just plentiful bounty. That's the thick times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
because the crops, you look at the field and you're like, wow, that's a thick, dense field of crops there. Right. And then when it's thin,
if you're trying to go down a path and you hit some thick shrubbery, that's where it gets hard.
Yeah, or if you're trying to walk through mud or drive through mud and it's thick mud.
Real quick, I'm going to bring us back to 2021, okay?
Oh,
my favorite year.
All right, March 17th, a day after my birthday, okay? The Lions complete a trade that sends Matt Stafford, the franchise's all-time leading passer, to the Rams, okay?
Oh, we have a clip of this.
Yes, we do.
From the pod.
But I just want to remind us of what the trade was, okay? The Rams get Matthew Stafford, and to the Rams for Goff, so the Lions get Goff, and 3 draft picks, including 2 first-rounders. How does that look right now?
Rams got a Super Bowl, and that's the only reason
Bowl
that they're saved.
It's a win-win, I think, because they got their Super Bowl, but then also look at the backside of this trade.
And the Lions were able to build off of those picks.
Yeah.
I think
absolute win-win.
And Jared, win-win. That's like...
Imagine...
That's what I'm trying to do with you right now in fantasy football.
Imagine how good... Like, obviously, the Lions needed those draft picks to build what they have now. But imagine
what they turned into.
If they still had... Yeah, find that out. Because imagine if they turned into nobodies and they have the team they had now but still had Matthew Stafford.
One of those was probably good.
I feel like Matthew Stafford... If the Lions still had Matthew Stafford, I feel like this team would be near unstoppable.
Yeah.
I feel like Matthew Stafford is a quarterback that is worlds better than Jared Goff. More proven than Jared Goff.
But I don't know. Stafford hasn't been crazy.
That's recently... Recently he hasn't been.
Okay, guys, you're not going to believe this.
Here we go.
This is why the Lions
Gibbs
are so good.
One of them.
So they got Jared Goff, and then they got 2 first-round picks and a later pick. The 2 first-round picks turned into, in 2022, Jameson Williams, their deep threat, and in 2023, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yes.
Wow.
So 2 of their pivotal offensive pieces were 3, including Jared Goff, came from that trade.
Yeah.
Like they literally built their offense from that trade.
Good job, Lions front office. Applauding to you.
Yeah.
You guys have done a phenomenal job building this organization over the last 5 years.
Yeah, and applause to Jared Goff specifically from me because that clip of us reacting to it. My whole take was it's in our best predictions of 2021 because my prediction, I was like, this is a great move by the Rams. Jared Goff was just made by Sean McVay. He's going to be nothing without Sean McVay. The Rams are going to win the NFC. And you guys were like, you're crazy. And I was right about that, but I was wrong about you, Jared Goff. I thought you were just a system quarterback. And I know I just said the Lions have Jared Goff. He's not great. But you're better than I thought. I thought that you were not going to be good without Sean McVay, but you're a solid NFL quarterback. So
no, I agree. I don't think the Lions would perform without a solid NFL quarterback. I don't think it's a... I think there's some system to it, but I also don't think it's entirely system. I think Jared Goff has the talent to make this a good team, but I also don't think... I think if you threw... a really talented quarterback in there, they'd be unstoppable.
Yeah, it would add another
element.
I think you'd be lying if you said that Jared Goff was one of the top 10 best quarterbacks in the league.
Oh no, not top 10. No,
but he's good. He's good and makes that team good. So, and obviously he's a good leader because that team is led very well.
Yeah. Yeah. We can wrap up Eagles talk with my prediction for the game tonight. I think that Matthew Stafford and the Rams will not do much against the Eagles defense because they've been really, really good. They've exceeded all of my wildest dreams, the Eagles defense. I could not have imagined they'd be this good. So
yeah,
I think that whoever gets over 23 wins this game. So I think the Eagles win it 23-17.
Okay.
Wow. Low scoring close.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
I think
if we look at the previous Super Bowls real quick, just like previous years, the Chiefs, their defense was built on rookies. They had huge contribution. Especially last year. So we have precedents for young defenses that are playing well. The Chiefs defense last year, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it carried them to a Super Bowl, even with rookies.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there is precedence for this. You think rookies, no experience, but they're playing so well.
Especially rookie DBs.
Yeah.
Which is what the Eagles have also.
Yeah, and the linebackers are stepping up crazy.
Absolutely.
Zach Bond is playing like the best linebacker in the entire NFL.
Yes,
He really is.
Phenomenal.
And then you have Quignon obviously locking people up. And I was telling Luke earlier.
I was going to say, we were just talking about this earlier.
Go ahead.
Quignon, obviously, we've seen some great performances out of him from a lot of good teams that have good wide receiver. I've said, I think they have, a lot of teams we face don't have a crazy wide receiver core. You see the Bengals have got Jamar Chase, obviously amazing. T. Higgins is a good wide receiver too.
But
Wouldn't say he's elite.
He's been hurt a lot.
You look at the Cowboys, they've got CeeDee Lamb, but after him, you don't really have a whole lot coming out of that offense. But you look at the Rams, they have Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
I think no matter what side Quignon is lined up on, he's either going to be facing Cooper Kupp, was he the Super Bowl MVP that year? Or was it Stafford? I don't know. Anyway,
great question.
A well-proven wide receiver in Cooper Kupp and an up-and-coming amazing receiver in Puka. And so, whether Quignon lines up
this is
on the left or right,
for me,
I think this is a very prove-it game for Quignon.
Yeah, prove-it game
for the whole secondary.
For the whole secondary, of course, yeah.
Because you're going up against
Cooper Kupp and Puka are one of the best wide receiver duos that the league has, behind A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
And I sent you guys that PFF tracks the missed tackles by defenses. That made my day because I feel like every Eagles defense we've ever seen
Did you send that on Instagram?
misses tackles. Yeah, that is when I think of Eagles defenses, especially the secondary and linebackers, 100%. I think of missed tackles. But PFF posted their the top 5 NFL defenses, top 5 as in defenses that have missed the least tackles. The Eagles are number 2. Steelers are number 1.
Okay.
And when you're on the same level as the Steelers defense,
the Steelers defense seems like something just like a consistency.
So
I feel like the Steelers defense is just always there.
Right. Steelers have 61 missed tackles, Eagles 64, Chiefs 65, Titans 65, Bears 67. So Eagles are second.
I'm just so proud of them because I've never seen an Eagles defense that doesn't miss tackles,
especially over the last 7 weeks. Because I remember after week 3 or 4, we were like, of course, this is just the Eagles missing tackles. What are they doing? Blah, blah, blah. Their defense was bad. Yeah. But they've just turned everything around.
Absolutely. They've looked phenomenal these last couple weeks.
They totally have. So
super excited to watch this game.
It'll be very exciting. And we get to watch it together, which is awesome.
That's always
we haven't done that much. So
before we move on from football to the next topic. I prompted a conversation before the podcast started saying I wanted to share this on the podcast.
Is this the thing?
Is this the big announcement?
And
he said there was a big announcement.
I said there was a big announcement. I didn't give them anything. They have no idea what's coming. That's why they look so anxious. I'm getting married. Just kidding. I'm not actually.
What does that
getting
have to do
married.
with football?
No.
Ask getting married to
Lincoln
football.
Financial.
Guys, listen. This is very serious. I'm a man of faith. I consider myself a man of faith.
Oh boy.
And
Tom
with
Brady.
and with that, I've had a change of heart.
What?
There's been
This is so confusing.
there's been a theme of this podcast that I have fit into miraculously over the last couple of years, and I've been holding a bit that it's become deeper than a bit, but I think that I need to adjust how I view things in this world a little differently.
No.
There's a certain individual that plays in the NFL currently that I think I've seen this season, and I've grown accustomed to like it. And honestly, the play style of this person has been absolutely electric, and I've
Yes.
and I've hated the fact that I've come to this, but I watch it, and there was one play that happened today on this NFL Sunday, and I need Owen to throw it up on the screen so you guys can.
Okay, I will do anything you ask, Luke.
No.
Baker Mayfield
No.
is an absolutely
No.
electric player. Watching him play
Yes!
this year has been something that I've regretted to enjoy, but I've enjoyed it so.
Luke, no.
Baker Mayfield is Luke's guilty pleasure.
I am sorry. The way that I watched him today, see a fumble come out of a pile of players. I don't know any other quarterback in the league that is saying, I'm putting myself on the line because I care so deeply about this team.
Oh my gosh.
This man threw himself into a fumble
I can't believe it.
just so that he could win for this team. And I don't know. There was something about this. I think it's kind of been weighing on me a lot this year of like, I've always hated this person. I've always hated Baker. But I feel like it's been weighing on me a lot this year of like, I've seen some really good stuff out of him, and he's been so phenomenal to watch play.
He's a changed man.
The way he plays the game and the passion he has for the game is electric. I'm not saying I love Baker. I'm not saying he's my favorite player. I'm saying that I've seen some good stuff out of him.
The disrespect to our friendship. To our
And
relationship.
I think I think that I've carried
Pure
this.
denial.
Pause. I think I've carried this bit on long enough of hatred for Baker.
You're choosing Baker over me, Luke.
That I think I need to have. I've had a change of heart.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I think that I need to give Baker the credit he deserves, because watching Baker play this year has been nothing short.
We've had hours bonding over this, okay?
I need to cue all the clips of Luke's pass about Baker
Put
Mayfield.
a rip 2020, rip November
2019.
2024.
We've joked about him working in a bakery.
Like grayscale
out
and
in
slow-mo
out in the fields.
Oh.
We've joked about this forever.
Parker, listen. I'm
And
sorry.
you're betraying me.
I'm sorry.
You're turning to the dark side.
Welcome to the light side.
I'm not turning to the dark side. I'm turning a new leaf. Dark is hatred. Happiness.
You're on the dark side.
Light. This is light.
No.
This is seeing the light side of somebody. Baker's not a perfect player. There's a lot that Baker does that I don't like.
But you can't switch up because I guarantee.
He just did.
No,
I had a change of
you
heart
can't switch
because
back to my
of
team anymore.
I'm not switching back to your team. I'm saying
when Baker starts playing bad and throwing picks, and he starts quitting on his team because that's what he's done in the past. Okay.
Okay.
You can't switch up and say you don't like Baker. You can't because you joined the wrong side.
For good.
You're shunned.
Wow.
This is Amish. You're shunned.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. There you have it.
Wow, what a monumental moment in our podcast history. This is incredible.
I'm getting a little emotional.
I can't promise I can go back and cut out. I don't remember where all of these are. I will do my best to see if I've already clipped out some of Luke's best Baker roasts. I'll do my best, but if not, just know those of you who've been around, you know there's been some iconic Luke anti-Baker moments. So this is huge. To anybody who's new, this is absolutely huge. Those of you who have been around, you know.
I could yeah.
I at first thought when Luke was the build-up, I thought he was going to say that he is changing his stance on injuries. And so he was going to pardon Tyrod Taylor. And that's what I thought he was going to say.
I thought it was going to be the Marvel's my one true love in life. I was like, oh, is he denouncing Marvel? Like they've gone too far downhill?
Oh my god.
No, that can't happen. We already have that on record. So
Okay.
We took that to the courthouse. So.
Oh wow, future wife. I'm
Wow.
sorry.
That's gonna be one of the first things we tell her. But
I know.
But we won't have to tell her about Baker Mayfield because that's amazing. So now another podcast history
That's horrible. Is what it is.
thing. We now have Luke being part of Team Baker. He doesn't hate Baker Mayfield. You're not like pro Baker. You're where I am. I've never been Baker Mayfield is elite.
You're 100%
No,
pro Baker.
you've been on
I
this
will never let go of that.
I never said he was elite. I said the Browns would be a great team.
It's like minus Baker, neutral Baker, plus Baker.
Yeah. I disagree, but I'm just glad you're not minus Baker anymore. Anyway, and so we have this, and we have the all-time clip of Parker saying the Browns are an amazing team while wearing a Browns shirt.
No, but that
so
doesn't
this
count.
is just
That doesn't
iconic.
No, you know that was taken out of context if you clip that.
Well, so
That's
Marvel is my one true love in life. So
No,
I think
that wasn't taken out.
context
Technically,
is,
everything
context
is out of
subjective.
context. If you think about it, everything's out of
Context
context.
is
Okay,
subjective.
English teacher. Like, yeah, now I'm like back in 10th grade when I'm writing down like my pronouns and stuff, or like plus and minuses behind
You were
like
writing
math
down
What
class.
English class were you?
Like you have to figure out what is a noun and what's a pronoun.
Okay.
It's like is school a noun or a pronoun?
Is Baker Mayfield amazing? Yes.
No.
Yes, he is.
Like is Baker?
Luke, he has
Can you
passion.
do?
Like
Can you
is
do?
Baker a noun or a verb? Like you don't know. Is it?
Can you do like a complete inverse of the like you used to say like Baker Mayfield is worse than a blind child who can't throw a football with their proper hand. Like those used to be your things. Could you do like a Baker compliment?
No, do not.
Baker
no.
Mayfield is equivalent to the level that a Starbucks barista can make coffee. Average.
I mean, I'll take it. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
I wouldn't say a Starbucks
That's-
barista is like a
that's
crazy
fine.
good coffee maker. They
Okay,
work
very
for
true.
a corporate chain. I would say that they show up and do their job.
Okay, that's fair. I like that.
I don't like that at all.
That's fair.
I think that Baker doesn't do his job. I think that he doesn't show up. And just watch what happens to the Bucks.
Okay. From this point forward.
Mark my word. From this point forward, watch what happens to the Bucks.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
We will see. Keep your.
Do not call me man. It's disrespectful.
Is that not your pronouns?
You've been disrespecting me all day. First with Baker.
All day.
Now with this woman calling me man.
Okay, so all day meaning the past 5 minutes.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
What is
well,
the next
that was
topic?
that
of
was amazing.
discussion
Yeah.
here? What's the next?
The rest of the sports talk that we have, I have one question for Parker, and then I have one question for Luke, and then we're gonna get into the draft, and then
Yes,
that'll
ma'am.
be the episode.
Sorry.
So that's
I'll
your
stop saying
official
ma'am.
preview.
There's no ma'ams here.
Parker, my question: there will never be a man. No, I'm kidding. We've had women on the podcast before.
We're not sexist.
Parker.
Whoa!
I was joking.
Everything
Out of
is in
context.
Everything can be taken out of context.
My question for you, Parker, is with.
I'm just
Luckily, I'm the one who clips the stuff. My question for you, Parker,
screen recording.
is the Sixers obviously have been struggling. We could talk for
Struggle might be an understatement.
days about how awful they've been, but there's been a bright spot. There's been two bright spots. There's been a bright spot shining on the Sixers' backcourt. And even though they only have 3 wins, that backcourt has given us just enough hope because it's early in the year. There's still some time to maybe turn it around.
What does
Some people,
backcourt mean?
the guards.
Oh, okay.
Because when you're playing offense,
They're in
the
the
guards
back.
are normally
Okay.
towards the farther from the hoop.
Yes.
Um,
That makes sense now.
so the Sixers season could still be terrible. There's people who think they should trade Joel Embiid, which I think is dumb. Again, topic we can talk about another time. But focusing on the one bright spot, the Sixers backcourt of Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey. Jared McCain's obviously been the biggest thing that people have focused on because he's been amazing and none of us expected this at all. But my question is, how viable is this backcourt? Because it's been brought up by reporters. We loved the clip of them interacting in the press conference. But it's the thing everybody's asking is, can you sustain this success with such a small backcourt?
Yes. Yeah, it's a good question because they're both really small, like what, 6'2" and
They're both
6'1".
sub 6'3".
Yeah, 6'2" and 6'1", I think. So here's my main question because Tyrese, we've seen him in the league for a little while. We know he's not this defensive asset at all. He's more so, I would say, a negative, but his offense more than makes up for it. I've been watching Tyrese Maxey for the past 10 games, like pretty in depth because he's been the most fun guy on the court. So I've been you can focus in on players when you're watching a game, or you can just focus on the whole game. So I've been focusing in on Tyrese Maxey on offense, but also on defense over the past 10 games. And my hot take, because I've been paying attention to the Sixers a little bit, is that right now, Jared McCain's offense does outweigh his defense, but his defense has not been good. So if you look at it on like a ratio, and his offense is like really good, and then if his defense was really bad, it would be balanced out 50-50. I think his offense is more like 65-35, like because he's not been very good on the defensive end. Like I would say his offense, if he was good on the defensive end, his offense would be like an 100 out of 100. But on the balancing scale, I think it's more like 65-35 in
Are you
terms
talking
of
about Tyrese or Jared?
Jared McCain right now.
And we were hoping that Jared would be a little better defensive. Like, he's going to be limited. But we had talked before the season. You were like, I think Jared McCain actually provides some nice versatility. Like, he's has good fundamentals and did well in college.
I still think that.
Okay.
But I've been watching him. His defensive mistakes are rookie mistakes.
Okay.
Because he's not in the right position, or he gets caught lacking on a back cut. Like, there's times where he'll, like, hit a three, and then he'll just be out of position and give up three. Back-to-back plays. Or, like, he gets caught lacking, the guy back cuts him, they get a layup or a dunk. Or he closes out, but he's not in the right position on the closeout, so then they drive, kick it out for a three, get a three. But it was Jared McCain's fault because he closed out too hard.
Yeah.
So his defensive mistakes are things that he can fix. You know what I mean? So I think he's going to be solid on defense. Right now, he's a net negative because he just is not in the right spots. Like, you can tell he like his guy back cuts him, gets a wide open layup, and he's just like, yeah, that's my fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's making those rookie mistakes right now. But he's only played, less than 15 games.
Yeah.
So I'm not too concerned about that. I think he can fix that. Like, it's all stuff that seems very fixable. He provides a little versatility on the rebounding end, more so than Tyrese Maxey. So I still think Jared McCain's going to be average on defense. Right now he's in that negative, but I think he's going to be average. So in terms of like, but he's also had possessions. I don't know if you were watching the Hornets game, but he had possessions where he was getting posted up in the short block, in the short corner.
And that's the small backcourt thing.
So like they were
how do
taking
teams take advantage of that?
Yeah. So like there's going to be times where that happens. Now, he didn't give up a whole lot. He did give up one bucket, but I don't think teams are just going to constantly post him up. Okay. They might do it occasionally when there's a mismatch, and come playoff time, it gets a little scary. But I think it is viable. What I don't know about the viability aspect is like money long term. Like if Jared McCain is actually really good and he keeps playing this well, like, do they have to trade him because they just don't have the cap space to do anything with him? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if like the viability of Jared McCain long term, because they just locked up so many people.
Yeah,
they just locked up their big three
for a 4-year window.
Right.
And
so
McCain would be up in 3 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking long term.
Okay.
So I don't know, like, from a viability standpoint, if that's even possible to keep McCain down the road. Like,
that's
if
interesting.
he stays good, like they'll have him for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
But like
when it comes time to pay up,
he's been great. So if he actually and he continues to progress on the defensive end and he becomes average on the defensive end, it's going to be good for the Sixers in the short term.
Yeah.
And it actually provides them like a good option to play in the postseason. Because Kyle Lowry was not cutting it.
No!
Even though he was shooting over 50% from three at the beginning of the year, he was on fire. But he doesn't have it. He's slow.
He's 38. It's okay, Kyle.
But if you look at Kyle Lowry, I mean, he played on Toronto, and they had short guys around him in Toronto.
That's true.
You know, so it is a viable strategy, especially if Embiid can stay healthy or Paul George can stay healthy. I'm more worried about that. Like, I think that the defense is going to be okay in the postseason. I think McCain's going to learn a lot this year. He's going to get a lot better on defense. Maxey, we know what he is. He's not a net negative, or he's not a net positive, but he's not horrible. He still is, doesn't have the best hands even when he could because he's quick. But I think that if Embiid actually stays healthy and Paul George has such active hands, like the Sixers have the lineup They have on paper, like Martin. You got these big, long guys that like Paul George's defense. I don't know, before he hyperextended his knee.
Again,
He was getting like steals, like his hands were active. He was playing, I thought, the best defense on the whole team. And if Embiid can like actually look like he's in shape, I'm worried. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about Paul George staying healthy, but when Paul George is out there, I feel good about him. At least from what we've seen so far this season. My main concern is Embiid because Embiid has a lot of issues right now. He is getting suspended through, from the ref standpoint. He isn't showing up to practice on time.
Anything on time.
He's not showing up to anything on time. Yep. He when he's out there on the court, which is very limited, he hasn't looked good. He's looked very slow and sluggish. His defense has looked really bad, honestly. He hasn't been able to navigate screens at all. Like on pick and rolls, guards are just coming off one dribble pull up from the 3-point line. He's giving them too much space. Embiid has looked really bad. Like
he's supposed to be the backbone and the leader of this team, and when your backbone and the leader of your team is looking like Embiid is looking,
he's getting
there's
out-hustled.
something wrong.
Especially in basketball, where there's only 5 guys out there.
Exactly,
Yeah.
basketball individual personnel is so crucial.
Out hustled, out rebounded, outscored. He doesn't know what he's doing out there. Like he feel like it's just I can't tell like what he's almost in a James Harden role where he's just every time he catches the ball he wants to score it because he's like I'm Joel Embiid, like I'm gonna shoot this ball, but it doesn't get anything involved and he's too slow right now because he hasn't played enough and he keeps getting hurt.
Yeah,
That's my concern.
That's how crucial it is to have that caliber of a player in basketball, to have an MVP caliber player in basketball. I mean, you look at a sport like baseball where the Angels had 2 3-time MVPs, a total of 6 MVPs on a roster together, and they couldn't even be over 500 in a season. And then you look at a basketball team and you have one player who has an MVP, has multiple MVPs, whatever you look at, and they can lead their team to a lot of success. Like Embiid is that player, and he needs to show up and be a leader, but he's not doing.
That's my main concern.
If he'll show up.
The Embiid thing over the next 4 years, like what is this going to look like? Because if this keeps happening, okay, we're getting a little bit tired of it right now, right? I am at least.
Even if he comes back and starts playing well, if he's not being a leader, there's going to be no cohesiveness on that court.
Yeah, because what? Like Tyrese Maxey's the leader?
Right? I think it's okay if Tyrese Maxey is the leader, like vocally off the court, but on the court, you need your best player to be somewhat of a leader
and a veteran.
with
Maxey
the ball.
Is not a veteran. He is. Is this his
Maxey
third year?
seems more mature.
He's 24. He's 24.
Fourth year, I think.
Fourth year?
Yeah, 4th year.
So like, he's still young. He is so young. He's still relatively new to the NBA.
And you gotta show up to practice. Like that's important.
That seems like a very basic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we shouldn't even be discussing of like a thing that needs to be done.
Like especially if you're a leader on the team.
Imagine if Bryce Harper was showing up late to Phillies batting practice. Like what? That's not.
And basketball is such a team sport.
Yeah.
Imagine if Jalen Hurts was just like moseying in onto practice a few minutes late. Hour late.
Yeah.
Hey guys, sorry, I didn't mean to be late today. Slept in.
Yeah.
Like
or not putting in the time in the film room.
Yeah. You'd be like Jalen,
like showing up late to
what
film
are you
sessions
doing?
or
you're the backbone. You're the leader of this team. You need to be in the earliest and out the latest.
And I don't think it's a far-fetched speculation that part of the reason why Embiid keeps injuring himself is because maybe he's not putting as much time in the rehab room.
Taking
care of his body. LeBron
his
spends millions on his body, and that's an extreme example. But Embiid is literally...
That's why he can play till he's in his 40s.
Yeah, he's an MVP caliber player, and if he wants to be out there playing, like, you got to take care of yourself.
Especially when you have the resources to do so.
You got to show up. Because if you're not showing up in... you're late to practice, right? That means you're not showing up in other ways. Because you can't just take that out of context and be like, well, it's just practice. Like he's probably showing up in other ways too.
Yeah.
Like odds are, if it's one thing, it's probably extrapolated.
Especially when you have young guys that are showing promise in talent, like they're showing glimpses of what they can do, but they don't have a veteran leader to look up to. Like that is crucial in their development in the league. They need a veteran leader to look up to.
Who actually has done this before.
Who has done this before
Yeah.
and who cares? Because
Who cares? Yeah.
If that leader,
Gotta care.
if that leader cares and shows them, gives them the time of day, and develops them in this league, they're going to be so much more successful. Especially when they're already showing glimpses of that in a broken system at the moment.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people in comment sections of social media now being like, trade Embiid. And it's definitely
not simple like
too
that.
early for that. And yeah, they just signed him. Who would you trade him for? It's a lot more complicated.
Yeah, that's
Pull a
not
Giants
simple.
and drop him I'm
No.
joking.
Yeah, I don't recommend we trade it. I don't think you should trade him.
No, we could do a whole analysis on that. That's not a good idea. But speaking of trades, my question for Luke, there's been a ton of rumors flying around about how the Phillies are actively shopping Alec Bohm to be traded this offseason. Very simple question. Should they trade Alec Bohm?
That's not a simple question.
Simple question, not simple answer.
I'm so torn. As somebody who just loves the Phillies and loves the chemistry of the team that we have, I say no. I love Alec Bohm on this team. I think that he's a good personality. I think he gets along with the guys super well. I think he's so fun to, watch play the game. And in my mind, it's just a Rhys Hoskins trade to, over again. That's how I view it. Because did he come up through the Philly system?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just, it's Rhys Hoskins again. That's exactly what it is.
Except this time you're actively getting rid of him. Rhys was a free agent. This would be we are choosing to
exactly.
ship you out.
And it feels very similar. They feel like similar players. I mean, they played at the corners.
A little bit inconsistent.
Had their downs, had their low lows and their high highs. Both hit for power. Bohm not so much early in his career, but definitely towards the backside.
Doubles power.
Yeah, definitely towards the backside of his career, or not his career, but his time recently. So far, he's been hitting for more power, hitting relatively similar spots in the lineup. It feels like Rhys all over again. And again, like Owen said, not free agency, but actively shopping. I think it'd be sad to see him go. I don't know if it's the right thing to do or not. I mean, yeah, I really don't know. I don't know if it's the right thing to do or not. I mean, I guess you got young guys that can come up and play third, but...
That's a clear answer.
I just think that there's not a huge upgrade out there for them. Whatever the trade package is, sure, if you get an amazing trade package, you trade Alec Bohm because it's the right move. There's a world where you can win an Alec Bohm trade.
I guess the thing we would really want out of it is an outfield bat.
Yeah, and then that would require some shuffling because you have Marsh and Rojas and Castellanos and
if you were to acquire an outfield bat like Soto or something like that, they're gonna start 10 times out of 10.
Oh yeah.
What we've done in the past is get outfield bats and they start whether it's a righty or lefty pitcher. If you get Soto, he's starting righty or lefty pitcher because you can't get a guy like that and expect him to sit on the bench every other game.
He's not a platoon guy.
Yeah.
But then even if you add the outfield bat, then you're leaving a hole. The question is still who plays third base.
Yeah.
I don't think unless you get Alex Bregman, which then you'd be spending a crazy amount of money on this team. Unless you get Alex Bregman, I don't think there's really an upgraded third base option for the Phillies.
Sosa I would say it's a downgrade from Bohm.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I don't think I trust him every day.
Would you rather get a guy like Soto to play in the outfield and have that bat in our lineup and have Sosa
getting Juan Soto would be a win regardless.
And exactly, and having Sosa at third and maybe defensively, I'd say Sosa is a good defensive player.
Yes.
He's as a bat, maybe a little more.
He's not that good.
He's a mid bat, but then you're replacing a bat like Rojas with Soto.
Yeah, that's top end. If you sign one of the best hitters in the league,
exactly.
You have to pay up for that.
That's
an
extreme.
Yeah, you would have to pay.
Yeah.
Basically, I think that's the main case. The only way you fill this out is if you pay up big to keep your lineup at the level it's at. Why not just keep Alec Bohm?
Yeah, I don't know.
Run it back the way it is
Maybe
I'm fine with running it back because this team was good and they just went cold.
good. It was a very good team.
So
that
that's
went
my.
cold.
I don't want to trade.
Maybe instead of trading Bohm, you look for another semi-consistent third base option that is like, okay, Bohm's not playing well. He's going to the bench till he can tell me something till he can show me something. And
you hire a sports psychologist to get him in the right mentality.
That would honestly also be helpful, probably, because a lot of it is mental.
And
that's another thing. Just
you fire that one and you
you get a good one
because clearly it's not working with him. But that's another thing. Like him getting older, like every year that he ages and he's around these veterans on this team, like I would hope that he can mature and progress.
Yeah, we have a lot of veterans on our team that can help these young guys grow. Bryce Harper, Nick, Schwartz, Turner, like these guys have all been through it.
I don't want to cut Bohm loose because he had a bad attitude in one postseason series.
I agree. I don't think cutting Bohm loose ultimately is the correct decision, but
there we go. Luke's got an answer now.
Yeah!
Let's go.
All right, let's wrap this episode up with a draft. We haven't done one in a minute. So, as you know, we always do the finger app when we're in person. It's a tradition.
I wonder if it's easier visible if you hold it like that so that they can see it.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, let's do the finger. Let's figure out the draft order before they even know what the draft is. So here we go.
Let's see our order. 3,
First,
2,
this is you get to pick. Ooh, me. Do I want the first overall pick?
I don't know.
Yes, I would like number 1. Luke is devastated already.
Oh, he gets number 1.
Because I think there's a clear...
Wait.
Why did you guys do that?
That's me. That's me.
What do their fingers together?
Do you want 2 or 3?
You were 1 away from getting your guy, Luke.
I mean, I know you're going to take him at 1, so it's do I want 2 or do I take the wraparound? Because the wraparound could be good if I'm not getting him at 1. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I want the 3rd pick. I'm feeling good there.
Right.
I feel like the guy that I want in my first round, since I won't get the guy that I know I'm not going to get. But you guys all know who I want.
I know.
Well, they don't even know what the draft topic is yet. And they know we have a clear number 1. All right.
Yeah, so they don't know the draft topic, but they know who I want to pick.
Yeah.
Jason Kelsey.
We are drafting Philadelphia athletes you would want at your Thanksgiving dinner table.
Yes.
And I think we all know there's a clear number 1, and it's the guy that Luke has taken, I think, in like 3 straight drafts. But I specifically wanted number 1 just to give him pain.
No. This is what you get for changing your stance on Baker Mayfield.
I'd take Baker Mayfield if this was all athletes. No. This is Philly athletes.
I feel like Baker at a Thanksgiving table would be electric.
Exactly. See, Luke's really come around. With the number 1 overall pick, I think this is very easy. I want Jason Kelsey at my dinner table.
Yep.
He's the top Philly athlete. Present, past, who cares? Jason Kelsey at your Thanksgiving table is going to be amazing.
Yeah. That's my number 2 overall. I have a different number 1 overall. Which I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick with my first round.
You don't think
are we playing...
Wow.
Is it all-time Philly athletes?
Yes,
okay,
yes. This is past, present, any Philly athlete at your Thanksgiving table.
Yeah, personally, my list, like if you just look at past or present,
Crazy.
I have one that I really want at my table.
Let's hear it.
Jared McCain. He's the same age as me. He's 20.
Okay.
It would be awesome. I think we'd just be friends, not going to lie. And that's why. Because like all these other guys are older. You know, it would probably be a little bit harder to connect with them on a personal level. But like Jared McCain, I think it'd be just so sick just to like, we talk at Thanksgiving dinner and then we literally just go play basketball. I think it'd be so fun.
That'd be cool.
Would you be okay with like being in a couple of TikToks?
Oh yeah, 100%.
That would actually fit. That would fit much better with Parker than with us.
Yeah, that's
Jared McCain's gonna be at somebody's table.
That's my number 1 overall.
Yeah.
He's literally our age. He's 20 years old. Like that's just that'd be so awesome.
We're getting old.
That's
I've got 3rd and 4th pick here. Got the wraparound, and I'm going double Brandons. Brandon Graham, Brandon Marsh.
Dang it, those are 2 really good ones.
I've heard from...
That's really good.
Just like listening to podcasts, listening to whatever, like hearing Philly athletes talk. Brandon Graham seems like one of the funniest guys on the field, one of the most trash-talking guys on the field. He seems like a really talkative guy. I think he'd be electric to have at the Thanksgiving table. I think he'd really get into it with the in-laws, and I think that'd be something that would be so fun to be watching us talk to. And then again, Brandon Marsh is just kind of that guy. I don't know. He just seems like the guy, like, you heard him in the mic'd up moments. Like, he's part of the daycare. I think it's just he's kind of that guy. I think having both Brandons there would really elevate that Thanksgiving table.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's really good.
I love those.
I love that too. My second round pick, I'm gonna go just the classic, a guy that again I really want to just talk with. I'm thinking about this as more so just like guys that I want to know, because if they're gonna be sitting at a Thanksgiving dinner table with me, like that means I get to talk with them. So it would be Jalen Hurts, my second overall pick.
Yeah, dang it, I was considering.
Yeah, and the reason why is just because I want to ask him just about his mentality on like life in general. I think he has a really positive attitude, and he's a Christian as well, and so I just want to ask him a lot of questions.
Absolutely.
Nice. That's a good one. Man, okay. With my second overall pick, I'm taking Smitty, Skinny Batman, Devontae Smith.
Yes.
Because again, like referencing the mic'd up, he's always so funny when he's mic'd up. The stuff he says is hilarious. Just seems like a fun guy to hang out with. And now I'm thinking I have 2 Eagles teammates in my head. I don't want to give them away because I don't want you guys to take them. I have 2 of his Eagles teammates in my head that I would like to pair him with. And I think they're two good options by themselves, but I think I have to go with the chemistry and take AJ Brown. Him and Smitty back to back. Skinny Batman, Swole Batman. I think the 2 of them together. I love seeing the camaraderie that AJ Brown and Devontae Smith have. AJ got him the birthday cake and sang to him for his birthday a couple weeks ago. I love seeing that with receivers because in the NFL there's so many receivers who are like egotistical and like fighting for targets, but like to see 2 wide receivers who are clearly friends on the same team is awesome. And so I think those 2 with Jason Kelce, we're building an Eagles-centric table, but I think those 2 will be a blast to have sitting. They're sitting next to each other at my table.
I like that.
That's
I like
good.
that.
That's really
and there's a guy that's going to be sitting next to Jalen Hurts at my table, partially because he's on the offensive line. Give me the Aussie, Jordan Mailata.
Oh, I love that pick. That's a great pick.
Obviously, you were just talking chemistry, O-line quarterback. You know, we got the chemistry. But also, I want to... Jordan Mailata just seems like a fun guy to be around.
Absolutely.
We need a guy at our table that's like, you know, just head over heels taller than people, you know? So he's the big guy. He's the guy that's going to put down like tons and tons of turkey, you know?
He's going to be taking a nap after.
Yeah, and it's just going to be fun. I can talk to him about his family, you know? Hopefully he brings his kids and stuff. We get to meet them. I'm just thinking about like people that I want to talk with. I want to talk with them a lot.
Yeah.
We've been on a roll with chemistry, so why not just add another piece of the daycare and take Garrett Stubbs?
Is he part of the daycare?
Or maybe not the daycare. He's part of the band, though.
Phillies vibes.
He's part of the band.
Yeah,
I guess he's part of the
vibes.
band, not the daycare.
Yeah.
Garrett Stubbs, I think he's just an electric guy. Like, you see him in the clubhouse, the way he parties in the clubhouse after wins, like, he seems just like the life of the party.
Yeah. And
what better way to liven up your Thanksgiving table than literally putting the life of the Phillies clubhouse at the Thanksgiving table? I think that's just he's a no-brainer that he deserves a spot at that Thanksgiving table. Mm-hmm. And then this last one, I'm kind of going between 2. I think it's a hard decision.
We've gone all current so far?
So far.
Except Kelsey.
Except Kelsey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
But I think I'm just going to keep it current because these are the guys that I know best. And I'm going to roll with another Eagle. I'm going to take Dallas Goedert. I think Dallas Goedert
brings the jokes.
I think Dallas Goedert is a funny guy. I think
Dude, Dallas Goedert and Brandon Marsh together.
Dallas Goedert and Brandon Marsh I feel like they mesh.
Frat boy
I feel
heaven.
like they would mesh so well. I feel like there's some great just chemistry on that Thanksgiving roster.
Yeah.
I think it's a great table. I think ultimately
that's going to be a loud table.
Wrapping up the table, you got Brandon Graham, you got Brandon Marsh, you got Garrett Stubbs, and you got Dallas Goedert. I think you get 2 Eagles, 2 Phillies. They know each other. I think that's an electric table. I have no doubt that table is going to be rowdy, that table is going to be loud, and that table is going to be fun.
Lunch aides hate to see that table.
I like that. I like that. For my last pick, we're going to go a former player.
Okay.
We're going to go someone that spices up the table a little bit. My 3 players aren't, controversial enough, right?
Oh, no. Where is this going?
So we're going to go former 76er, Allen Iverson.
Okay.
The reason why is for a lot of reasons. He brings like the energy, right? He's obviously older at this point, but he's done a ton in his career. I want some veteran presence. I want to hear what he's up to right now. You don't hear about him anymore, right? I want to know what Allen Iverson is doing. He's probably going he might be gambling the whole time, which would be fun, you know? So
you've got the stuff for it.
Exactly. And then I think the banter between him and Jared McCain would be hilarious. I think it would be so funny.
Does Allen Iverson approve of Jared McCain painting his nails?
That's what I want to know. So this is like questions that we can figure out. Because you have a former 76er guard that was a star, and now you have Jared McCain, who's literally being a great 76er guard. And I want to see, is this a passing of the torch? Is there controversy around this? Yeah. Like, does Allen Iverson...
Allen Iverson was famous for being controversial with the way he dressed for NBA fashion. And Jared McCain is the new generation.
Exactly. So you have this, these storylines. I want to figure this out.
That's good.
Yeah. And it'd be fun to talk with him.
So, wow. Yeah, of course.
Man, these are loaded tables. I don't know how you guys are going to pick. I don't know how you guys are going to vote on which of these are the best, because I think all of these tables are so fun.
Yeah.
I'm also going to round out my table with a former player. I don't want to go all Eagles. Right now I have 3 Eagles. I'm going to add a former Philly J-Roll, Jimmy Rollins.
That's
just
a good one.
A great character. One of the most energetic, fun guys the Phillies have ever had. He was always great with the media. Now he's part of the media. And so he and Kelsey can talk about what it's like being part of the media when you're retired. And he's going to have some great quotes. I think AJ and Smitty are going to love him because he's 10 years older than them. Yeah. They're going to be like, oh, this old head is great. They're going to call him Uncle Jimmy.
Uncle Jimmy.
I think he's going to make them crack up. So yeah, I think Jimmy Rollins is a great addition. Jimmy and AJ both wear number 11, so there's a connection there. So yeah, Jimmy Rollins,
solid
rounded out my table. So
you guys have to let us know who you think won. Obviously,
which
throw up the graphics.
That's a crazy
of what
draft.
the tables are, but
yeah. And if I could have had one more spot.
I was gonna say we need honorable mentions.
I
had a lot of
if I could have had one more spot, it would have been Tyrese Maxey, just because the Jared McCain Tyrese Maxey dynamic right now would be electric.
Yeah,
but
a lot of smiles at your table.
A lot of smiles, which is how I like it.
And then Jalen bounces out.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He's just cool, calm, and collected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
definitely him.
In lieu of the shirt, I think Brian Dawkins would have been a fun one to have.
Fletcher Cox was another one.
Fletch was a good one. Ooh. I think
I was really considering him.
B-Doc would be good to have. Yeah. Another fun one, John Dorenbos.
Oh, dude,
that's some magic.
Entertainment factor.
That's some magic.
That's great.
That's honestly a huge miss. That is a huge miss by me. I just thought of that now.
That's a great
That's
pick.
a huge miss by me.
Oh, yeah, he was
I think Zach Ertz would be another fun one to have at the table.
Oh, that'd be great.
I think there's a lot of fun Eagles out there that probably would have been really fun to have
I was thinking Wilt Chamberlain, too.
The stories about him are crazy.
I think he'd have some lore, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If Jimmy Rollins gets called Uncle Jimmy, Wilt would have the respect.
He'd have some lore. Yeah. So I was thinking about him too. So I think those are some good names just to throw out there.
Yeah.
Get kick off in 5 minutes.
I have my honorable mentions. I did think about Brian Dawkins because his pre-dinner prayer would be electric. He would be so fired up to eat Thanksgiving dinner. And then also Slay.
Jordan Mailata would be like,
let's go! I'm just picturing pre-game hype speech mixed with Southern Baptist pastor praying.
He's got the spread out in front of him,
and he's just going ham on the turkey.
Jordan Mailata just starts grabbing wings.
Lord, thank you for this meal. It's Brian Dawkins just going off.
That'd be so good.
Oh my gosh.
And then another Eagles defensive back, Darius Slay, is just such a fun guy.
Trash talker.
So I was between him and AJ with my third pick. I think Slay would also just be iconic to have there. So yeah, those were my top 2. I could keep going, but we gotta wrap this up.
We got an Eagles game to watch.
Yeah. Make sure that you comment, subscribe. Go to our All Philly All the Time YouTube if you aren't there already, and give us a follow.
Follow us on Instagram. We got some good content coming up there.
Oh yeah.
TikTok, we've got some good content coming out on. So.
And thank you for the support. We're growing.
Yes,
we're growing.
We are.
Up a bunch of percent on YouTube. Like a lot of percent.
A lot of percentage.
Yes, it's been a big year for us.
So we appreciate that
Yes.
a lot. Thank you so much. And we got an Eagles game to watch. Go Birds, baby!